Okay, new day here on the van build site. It's been a little while since we have actually done anything on the van because we went up to our house in Kelowna and spent a little time there. But while we were there, we had some things come in the mail and some pretty exciting things. First thing is our bed lift has arrived. That will be a completely separate video. We will install that a little bit later. But another thing that arrived is our roof racks, which we are going to install right now. Today, Mike has a random day off of work and we're gonna take advantage. So yeah, let's hop on the roof.
All right, so we're up here on the roof. You can see the aftermath of our Max fan installs. I mean, it mostly looks fine. It doesn't look amazing. The sealant is always hard to get neat looking.
How on earth can you make that look neat anyways?
Yeah.
They all look like globs of mess. It's fine.
Okay, so anyway, for the roof rack, we basically have to take a heat gun and expose and chip away at these holes. It kind of runs down the length of the roof. And these should expose some threaded inserts that our roof rack just bolts right into. So it should be nice and easy. But yeah, let's see what we're working with. So you can see inside there's already a threaded insert ready to go for these bolts. But I gotta clean this all up first. Okay, and now that we've gotten all the holes exposed, you can see on some of them that it doesn't really line up all the way with the threaded inserts. So just taking this little Dremel tool and quickly filing out the holes so they match up. Okay, so we took some Dicor self-leveling sealant, put it all around the holes up top, and now we're gonna do the same on the underside of the roof rack. They gave us these little blocks, maybe I can show you guys, that go on these blocks in between the roof rack and the roof of the van. We've got to kind of hurry though because the sealant is drying. Okay, here is one side of the roof rack installed and ready to go. Everything looks pretty good. Now we'll do the other side. Yeah, I totally forgot to say where we got this roof rack from. So it's from a local company called Curious Campervans. They're based in the same province that we are. And yeah, we just really like the look of this roof rack. And it has a ladder that'll go on the side of it too. And yeah, it's always nice to, support local businesses and local van businesses. So that's cool, right? We have both sides of the roof rack up. Looks pretty good. Now we can start thinking about things like solar panels and everything else that's gonna go up here. Okay, we're quickly putting together the front fairing of the roof rack. This thing really completes the look of it. I'm really excited for this part. So this should look really awesome. Let's get it on the roof. Hello, it's the next day and pretty exciting day. Today we are going to put up part of the ceiling of the van. So yeah, yesterday we finished off the roof rack, that all went great. And today we're gonna start tackling more on the inside. We're gonna start putting up some of these shiplap boards that we got from Home Depot. They're just made of cedar. And yeah, we wanted something that was a little wider because a lot of the planks that we saw that were tongue and groove planks were just way thinner than this.
Well, so they're 3 to 3.5 inches.
Yeah.
This is more
This is 5 1/4 or something. So it's, definitely a bit wider. We wanted that sort of look for the ceiling.
This gives a little bit more of a modern feel,
yeah.
I think, once we've painted it.
Yeah. We were only able to find cedar planks in this size. Other stuff that we saw was MDF, which is not really good for a van. But the thing with cedar, I'm sure a lot of you guys who work with wood know, is it has a very, very strong smell to it. A lot of people really like the smell. It's like a sauna kind of smell, right?
It's not bad, but
It's not bad. Yeah. We're not sure if we want it like completely all the time in the van like that. No, not that we don't like the smell, but like, you know, I don't know if I'd want something like that like 24/7 in my living space necessarily. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna paint them because we wanted them to be white anyways, and painting them will probably get rid of most of the smell, if not all of it, right? So join us today. We're gonna get all that done. I don't know how far. We're probably not gonna completely finish the ceiling or anything like that because we still need to cut a couple of holes for our solar wires, things like that. So, but join us for that. It's gonna be a good day. Let's do this. Okay, so just kind of doing some test fits to see how things will look.
Well, and like how far you can look.
Yeah, I got it.
So this only goes like a little bit here.
Okay.
But then that means this whole section plus there needs
Its own piece. Well, plus like all the, you know, you have to cut a lot of little chunks for going around the fan and stuff like that. Okay, so here in the back of the van, I have yet to put any sort of furring strip framing for the very back to match these guys so the ceiling can go and screw into something. So I think what I'm gonna do is there's these M6 sized holes that I can put some rib nuts into. So I'll do that and come up with some sort of thing, piece of wood that'll, you know, sit on top of this.
all geared up and ready to sand the first board. Let's do this.
Okay, so I've just kind of clamped this piece of wood here for now just to sort of get a visualization, and we test fitted a piece of our plank that ran into here. It fit okay. I'm trying to figure out if there's a way I can maybe make this kind of curve to match the shape of these curves, but I'm not sure yet. Okay, I know this looks weird right now, but basically I took this piece of really thin plywood that I had laying around, I cut it so it fit the width of the van like this, and kind of just pushed it up so it's cinched against the ceiling. And now I'm gonna take a pencil line and draw a curve so I can make my rear furring strip that's gonna go against the ceiling to finish off our shiplap boards. So yeah, hopefully this works, and let's do this. All right, we got our line template. Let's cut this out. Okay, so as you can see, I have finished my little template piece for the rear furring strip. So now I'm gonna take this piece and cut it out of a real piece of wood, or a thicker piece of wood, and then probably glue it to the ceiling. Okay, just to catch you guys up, I've put in a couple of these corner brace brackets here into the rib nuts that I put in earlier. So we're basically gonna take our finished furring strip, screw it into these corner braces, and then that should give us a nice match to the rest of the furring strips on the ceiling. Yeah, I think this will work out good. I was gonna like glue it on, but I think just with these two corner braces and this being screwed in, that should be more than enough. Okay, so this piece is mounted up. Got the corner braces holding the wood. Yeah, this should serve as a good rear furring strip for our ceiling panels to connect to. And then all these wires will kind of be hidden, kind of like behind it, like this. Something like that. Checking up on Dana. She's been sanding and prepping all of our ceiling panels.
Yeah, I didn't really care too much about this side. I did give it a little.
Oh, this is the back?
Yeah, I did give it a little sand just because we are painting it, but it doesn't look as nice as obviously this side.
Yeah, this feels nice.
Yeah, hopefully it goes well. We're just gonna paint it white, and yeah, it should look beautiful.
Okay, so it's been several days, and yeah, it's been a busy week, but Dana has successfully painted most of these boards now.
I have the underside of this and then both sides of that. But yeah, we're getting there. It probably could have taken me, 2 to 3 days to do this, like in a row, but maybe even not, maybe just 2 days. But it's just been a busy week. So it's been an entire week and it's now the weekend.
Okay, so I'm up on the roof yet again. Starting to prep and plan out how we're gonna run all the wires on the roof for like the solar, and I have a couple of like LED lights that I want to use for scene lights around the van, and things like our Starlink and our WeBoost and stuff, right? So yeah, I got this junction box off of Amazon, and then I drilled a whole bunch of different size holes in it for the different sizes of wires that we're gonna run through it. And I drilled this big hole on the bottom that's gonna sit here on the van. I've already marked out where it's gonna go. It'll more or less sit there next to our roof rack, probably something like that. And yeah, so we're gonna drill a hole into the van, prep it, paint it, all that good stuff, you know how it goes, and put a pipe adapter through this hole so all our wires can come out through here. And then there's a lid that goes on top of this, making the whole thing sealed and weatherproofed. And I'll probably use like Sikaflex and Dicor to seal this onto the top of the van. I don't want to use screws and screw it in. Even though it has screw holes, I don't think I'm going to use them. I'm just going to cover it with sealant. And it should be all good. So let's give this a go. Okay, so we are all done here. Just gotta wait for the Dicor to dry, and then it should be all done. Just for now, I'm gonna put the lid back on, and we're gonna move on from this and go on to another project. After the junction box, we started tackling the ceiling install. We first spent a ridiculous amount of time lining up the first board because, as you know, the first board dictates the alignment of the rest. We measured from all angles of the van and made sure it lined up square with the middle. Once we were happy with the placement of the first board, it was off to the races. We attached the boards to our ceiling furring strips, mostly using a nail gun. And in the front of the van, where it curves down, we used a combination of nails and screws. More on that later.
All right, we have officially started the ceiling, and it's taken, not too long now that we've kind of figured out what we're doing.
Yeah,
but
the first piece is the hardest one because you gotta get centered.
And we
right?
kind of messed up 2 boards. That was my own fault.
But I don't know, it's looking good so far.
Yeah.
We're really happy that we're finally getting into some stuff that, is visual finishes of the van like this. So,
Yeah.
And Dana worked all week on painting and sealing these boards, so.
We also bought a nice fancy new blade for this because the one that it came with was beating the crap out of each board.
Yeah, it'll always splinter wood and stuff, so.
But this one's been doing really nice.
Okay, we have made some progress, not a ton of progress.
We've made a ton of progress.
I know, it was a lot. Yeah, I wanted to make more progress today. But not bad. We got all these ones up. We got, this area up here
nice
by the
square.
back, a nice square for the AC. And we've cut out a perfectly centered hole, as you can see, for our first puck light. But yeah, it's...
And again, if you're wondering why there's a stopping here, we are putting a nice little cover beam because all of our panels are going to finish here.
Yeah.
And then they'll finish to the rest because they're not long enough.
Yeah. So that's the story with that. And yeah, making progress, but we'll do some more later.
Our first light.
Yeah.
That looks good.
Cool.
I like the silver. Okay, Mike is gonna ghetto rig this light to see if it works.
Yeah, this is probably not the proper way to do this, but we just have one of our Ryobi batteries. It's fine, it works the same.
He says he's seen it on YouTube.
I saw this on YouTube.
So it must be professional. Woohoo! It's not very stable,
I'm not
but...
very good,
Alright, we're gonna test these 4 lights. Oh, nice.
Look at that.
You wired lights.
We got lights.
So we are moving on to this front portion of the van. We've been kind of dreading this section because it's curved and it's going to be complicated. These boards aren't, you know, the most bendable. And a lot of times I think people are using a little bit thinner of wood and then it bends a little bit easier. So we are going to try our first long piece and see if it even holds, because I'm thinking that there's going to be quite a bit of pressure in this one front beam and it might just like pull right out. So join us as we probably trial and error this entire thing, and yeah, hopefully we figure it out.
Okay, so we're gonna try this thing that we found online called kerf bending, where you set your miter saw so it doesn't go all the way through the wood, and then you just make a whole bunch of cuts across so it has like bendability afterwards. So we're gonna give that a go. We've never done this before, so
We're both very nervous.
yeah.
Okay, so we have done a couple attempts at this and I broke, as you can see right there, I broke the first one being stupid and trying to, you know, bend it with my hands. Don't do that, it will break.
So what happens once you cut all these tiny notches into it, it becomes incredibly fragile.
Yeah, incredibly.
But as you can see, we can now put it in the place where we want it to, and yeah, see, it was basically impossible for this to touch this. Now that we've cut all those little cuts, this can now bend upwards.
Just do not press there.
Yeah,
if you
press
there,
you'll probably break it.
You'll break it. But we're gonna screw this section.
Yeah. Instead of using nails for this one, we're gonna use screws just because of how much it needs to bend, but I think it'll work.
We're gonna start with, I think, this row here, so that we have at least a straight line all the way across, and then we'll kind of work our way this way and this way, so that everything will hopefully be lined up.
Okay, so we're moving along. We're at this board now, and the thing about this board is that it's right where our bathroom max fan is. So we have to trace a circle on this board somewhere like there-ish. And how we got our mark was we just put lipstick on the back of this handle, which is center with the fan itself, and pressed our board up against it, and we're kind of
Hoping it'll look something like this.
yeah.
If it's wrong, well, we have to buy a whole other set of these boards because we're short one.
Yeah,
One board. So we'll have extras if we screw this up.
Which is likely. I'm just joking. I hope
No.
not. Alrighty, everybody. So we have finally
Raise the roof.
That's good. We're basically done the ceiling. We are like 90% done. We need
99.
one more. Yeah, we need one more board that goes right here. And we're not quite ready for that anyways because this is where all those solar cables and things go through the roof. So I'm not quite done that yet anyways. So, but yeah, we got to buy one more pack of these boards and we'll be pretty much done. So you can see this big seam here in the middle. That's gonna get covered up with like a little trim piece. The only reason that's there is because these boards just weren't long enough to go all the way end to end to the van.
And that's what we chose for our trim piece to be.
Yeah, and that's what we chose to do the cut, and that's where the trim piece would be. And up here on the front, things generally went well with the whole kerf bending thing that you saw us do. Up here in the very, very front, you can see it's like the very end here is pretty uneven. Like we have like long boards, short boards and stuff like that, but all of that is because of these notches here in the welding of the van itself. So if we had these boards go all the way to them, then it makes the entire board like sit down and then makes the whole thing completely uneven. So we had to notch out a bunch of those little sections. We're of course going to cover this with like a trim piece. Same with here with all the screw holes, that's going to be a trim piece too. That didn't work out, you know, in a perfect world. If these were spaced out perfectly, then we might be able to leave them, but because they're kind of uneven, we're gonna do like a thin trim piece there too. One thing that we realized is if I could do this all over again and do differently, I would get some sort of like floor to ceiling jack stands that would hold the boards in place as we were putting them up, because it's a lot of stress to have one person hold these up in the exact place that it needs to and the other person running around nailing it in, screwing it in or whatever. So yeah, if I could do it all over again, I would have some sort of floor to ceiling jack, and it would just kind of eliminate the stress of all of that. So other than that, everything turned out good. You know, where the max fan is, we're gonna have a trim piece here. Same with the little max fan here. All of this will be covered. There's like a little light that, you know, goes around, so that'll be really great. And yeah, once all the little trim finishing pieces are in, this will look awesome. But yeah, you guys, I think we're gonna call it on this episode.
It's been a very mishmash of stuff.
Yeah, in this episode for sure. I don't even really remember when we started filming. I'm pretty sure we did stuff like we did the roof rack, and then we eventually worked our way to the ceiling, which is what we're ending it. We're cutting it off here.
It's too much information for one episode.
But thanks for joining us. Thanks for tagging along on our journey to build our tiny home. And we'll catch you guys on the next episut, because yeah, we need a break from this.
Not this.
No.
The ceiling. The ceiling was
we need a break from the ceiling. Yeah. But yeah, guys, catch you on the next one. Thanks for joining us. My name is Mike.
I'm Dana.
Or Let's Just Go Travel. And we'll see you guys on the next episode of Van Build.
Whoop, whoop.